Press the wrong button, folks. Welcome to the stream. It's going well tonight. It's going really well. There's so I've no idea which event we're streaming on YouTube, but I think we're live on YouTube somewhere. So hopefully you can find us. If you can find us, do share it with other people. And also the Twitch link. You should now have the right title. So yeah, altogether a brilliant start to the stream. So apologies for that. If you're all confused, that's fine. We are too. What are we looking at today? We are looking at East Coast Mainline and Flying Scotsman. So if it says at the top up there, free roam and scenario planner, then yeah, that's not what we're looking at today. We're looking at Flying Scotsman and East Coast Mainline, which I'm super hyped for. I am joined by the miracle of modern technology by Jamie and Joe, who will be providing insights, commentary, and also helping answer your questions as well. So say hello, folks.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are we doing?
Right, okay. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Jamie for the customary, the honorary admin section.
Hello, everyone. I hope we're all doing well. We've got an exciting stream, but I will go through the admin. Don't forget, it all comes out tomorrow for early access. I think we've got a little... Have you got the little thing, Matt, that you can press the button so you can show
No idea.
all the picture on it?
Has he done that? Hang on, let me look and see whether I can find it.
That's all right.
Didn't put it on the
Yes,
on the
let me
button
just go.
box. Is it that one? Oh,
That's gone black.
okay.
Hang on 2 seconds, chat, and I will find what I was looking for. Hold on.
This is a good start. We are doing
It's
well
going
today.
very well. It's going very well.
Slideshow on
It's
here.
going
but
very
I know,
well.
I know what
Okay,
the
so-
slideshow is for.
Pre-release dates. So we've got early access begins tomorrow. So if you're on Xbox and PlayStation, it's 3 p.m. UTC. For you on Steam and Epic Games, 5 p.m. UTC. So that's for early access. Launch will be on 26th of September with the same timings. Compatible content will come out on launch day on the 26th of September. And your progress transfer players will be able to transfer their progress between older versions of CSW2 and CSW3. So yes, that's sort of most of the bits of pieces we need.
That's all your dates. I found it. It was on here. I knew Alex had put it somewhere. I just couldn't work out what the title of the thing was or which button it was. So yes, Jamie is apparently really quiet. Let me go and give Jamie a kick. I mean a volume boost. Right, speak again, Jamie.
Can you hear me now?
He says talking quieter.
Is that any better?
Well, you're on maximum now.
Because
So
that's it should be any better. Yeah, there we go.
awesome.
Yeah, that's the information I was just saying. So yeah.
There you go. You got the information on the slide. We'll pop this up 3 or 4 times during the course of the stream, just because we know that people will come on later on and ask the question. I leave it to you, Jamie and Joe, to say when to pop it up when you know there's a bunch of people who've been looking for that information.
Will do.
Right. So we're here for free roam. Yes, that's what we're here for today.
No. Naughty Matt.
You're too
Tell him
easy.
off.
You're
It's a
too
shame because
easy.
I really enjoyed the free roam stream actually.
Oh, me too.
But
It was
I'm
good
equally
fun.
more excited about East Coast Mainline and Flying Scotsman.
Should we do some East Coast Mainline then? So what's the plan for today? We are going to do a full... Oh, wow, there is an awful lot of echo. Where's that echo coming from? It's not. It's stopped again. Excellent. We are... Now I speak up again properly. It's come back. Testing, 1, 2. Okay, it's coming from the other microphone. Let me just mute the thing. Testing, 1, 2. Right, that's got rid of the other microphone. Excellent. Right, so what we're doing today is we are going to run a full line run on the Azuma up and down, up the East Coast Main Line, so you can see the route, see the train. Then we're going to run the first bit of one of the scenarios called Limping Home, so that you can see diesel mode, which is exciting. And then we're going to run the Scotsman in the re-record scenario for up to 100 miles per hour. So you can see that, and you'll also see some of Ben's music magic playing in the scenario. And then we're going to do a little bit of a nighttime look. And then after that, what it did occur to us was we haven't really shown you the new suspension tests that are going on that we said will be in the training centre. So we'll pop over to the training centre where the 323 is currently the only train with a new suspension system on it, and it's I'll prefix it by saying it's not finished yet, but I think you'll get an idea for just how impactful it's going to be when it's finished, and we'll see what sort of time we've got when we get to that point. How things are. Probably be about midnight by that point. So. I'll be fine, but Jamie and Joe will probably be asleep. So, we should get on with it. James has very kindly come up with a service for us. So, before we do that, let's just have a quick tour. So, scenarios-wise, this is the Azuma, the Class 66 that comes in the pack, and also there's three at the bottom here for the Flying Scotsman. Re-record will be running, not in its entirety, just up to the point where you hit the 100 miles per hour. And we are going to be running Limping off for probably the first 15 minutes or so. But this has got a bunch of other stuff that's going on here as well. Lots of good stuff there. So those are your scenarios across the core ECML and Flying Scotsman. And then in the timetable, I've got a bunch of extra content installed on here so that we can see some layers and so forth installed. Now, this is PC and full Gen 9 consoles, not Series S. We're still trying to finalize what this is going to look like for Gen 8. Exactly. There's it's causing problems today. We'll have that refined and we'll get that information out. But for full fat machines, this is roughly what you'll get. I think I've got all the layers installed. So there's the 158, there's a West Somerset 47, the Class 700, I think has some drivable stuff. There you go. There's some. These are just basically the sidings to Peterborough back. They're not much. I think the West Somerset 47 has a short move, 46 minutes there. What have we got? We've got the 801, which comes in the 5-car 801/1 and the 9-car 801/2. Then you've got Flying Scotsman, which has got a series of services that you can run. Then you've got the HST, which is the EMT version, and there's 3 services using the HST because you know what, we all want to run HST on the East Coast Mainline, don't we? Really. And Class 66 is where you'll see some freight stuff. So if I look in here, there is a bunch of freight moves, and some of these you'll notice are quite long, and it's because your freight train is going to get pushed to one side, and you'll have to wait for other things quite significant. There's a 2 hours and 50 minutes freight service there. You are not the priority on this railway. So it's long, but it's quite fun because you're getting kicked off quite frequently. So that's a brief overview of the services. We are going to run the 801/2, and we are going to run 1 Yankee 88. So let's just search for 1 Yankee 88, and I'm going to put it in like cloud, June, go. So I'm just looking at the chat. Oh yeah, there's some long services. It's a long route. It's about 80 miles, if I remember rightly. 5 stations.
You are doing 125 miles an hour, though.
You are doing 125 miles an hour, but that does still. We're getting any game noise, or oh no, I've turned off the game noise, so I can't hear it. Right. There we go. We have a horn. Right, okay, let's get the master key in, pop it in forwards and get the doors open. Quick look around the cab.
Sort of familiar, but not familiar, isn't it? A bit like the 395.
I was going to say there are the sort of the feels of the 395, but without the 395 in there. It's kind of, when you look at the detail, it's not, look, you've got this big display in here, and yes, it is offset like this. This is how it should be. It does look like this in reality. It's kind of odd. So actually, let's just stay here. Let's do a quick look around the outside. Oh, isn't that pretty?
Yeah, it's got a nice shape to it, hasn't it? It really
It
is
does.
like a modern high-speed train, you know.
What we should do actually is take a look around the interior. Got all your safety system controls and so forth there.
People are asking for the game volume up, please, Matt.
Game volume up. I think I turned that right down last time we were streaming. Of course, this is an electric train, so...
Wow,
That's
I
what
haven't
I
actually
see
seen.
the
Oh, there's a
kitchen.
kitchen.
Yeah, gotta love the kitchen.
Hey, first class.
This doesn't exist, by the way. These don't exist. This is just a
Guard
rumour and
panel,
a
Matt,
myth.
while we're here.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
Does that work?
Guard panel.
Hey, there we go.
I don't know how you close that door. Shouldn't do it the old-fashioned way, I think.
Like, close it with the driving seat.
Here we go. I must admit, I've not played with the guard station. But yes, there is a guard station there. I just thought I'd give you a tour down the train, see the interior. I might then restart the scenario so we're not heinously behind.
So we're causing wrong side door chaos already.
Yeah.
It's nice for me just to be able to see first class. I've only ever really travelled in the standard class on Azumas before. Comfortable as they
Same.
are, but yeah.
Here we go.
Look at that, they even got the glass. Or... Oh, really nice. It really does give you the real feel, actually.
So our train will only be going to Peterborough. I think at this point...
Chat has asked, is any station announcements or anything?
No, we don't have station announcements in the game. Something we want to look at for the future, but not something that we've got any plans for actively at the minute.
Oh, well. Get some beverages while you're there.
Nine cars, long train, many seats.
We're just checking tickets, aren't we, Matt?
Just aimlessly meandering down the train, looking at things. The good news is there is still a train here.
Is everybody
Nearly
looking
at
around
the
saying,
end.
are you the driver?
Not right now, I'm not.
And this is one of two variants, isn't it? In this, I think we've got the 8011 and the 8012, the 5 car and the 9 car.
Yes, we have the we've got both variants in there. The what I will say is that the 9 car is the one we specifically modelled. The 801/1 is a 5 car version of the 9 car with some exterior modifications, but for example, there are some interior differences on the real 5 car one which are not represented in here. So think of this as a shorter 9 car one. It was done because it adds a bunch of extra flavour and variety to the service mode, but the 9 car is the train we specifically modelled. Right.
I've seen in the article that we put out today as well, we've got sets that couple together through the nose couplings as well.
Yeah, so you'll find
Maybe
two
the 5 car,
fives.
would they?
You'll find 2 5s coupled together in a few places as well. Just restarting it so that the timings aren't completely off the wall. Keyed in, go forward, doors open. We will
TPWS and AWS operational.
TPWS 4. So we've got spoken instruction. This is your engine control stuff. So your diesel engines, your electric motors and pantograph controls. Wipers are down here. GSMR as usual there. There are some interesting things. There's some things that you can mess about with on here. I've not actually looked. I don't think I can't remember what there is and isn't on here, to be honest. So have fun with the stuff on here. There's turn it off by just clicking it back. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you can play on there. I know that the team spent a bunch of time working on the functionality for these screens. So, we're going to get the doors closed ahead of time. Oh, shed.
Yeah. Looks like a garden shed with that way thing.
Lights on. You've got your door controls over here. What we've got, line volt control and the circuit breaker. This is your TPWS4 control panel. So if you miss a critical stop, like an AWS alarm, then you'll need to use the process to reset involves pressing the AWS button here, and then you'll be able to use brake release to get the brakes off. So it's slightly different if you've not used the TPWS4 systems before.
It's always nice to see a manual gauge in something this modern, I think. I quite liked it when the needle went straight to zero then.
Yeah.
Attention, please. Closed circuit television and remote video monitoring is in.
Someone's asked from the horn outside as well.
Breaking the speed limit just a little bit. More sheds over there. Let me turn the sound on the game all the way up. Thing is, it's an electric train, so they're pretty quiet. So diesel's a bit louder, obviously, when we turn that on. But then we aren't going very fast. $60 miles to our next stop at Retford. Yard goodness going on over here.
Wow, look at that. Busy freight yard. Look at that. All this sort of stuff.
How's my speed looking? Oh, I've got loads. Okay.
We've had some questions about the sound. Where is the sound? Because we went out to record the sounds, didn't we?
Yeah, there's a couple of different places because of the kind of access we were able to get. The first thing is we did get a trip organised with LNER and Hitachi where we went up to the depot in Scotland and we were able to do static recordings and do a photo survey of the 801/2 and the but obviously that then left us with still needing to find running sounds and powered sounds while the thing's going. So we worked with Armstrong Powerhouse, who already had a really good set of those sounds, and that's what's in the game. So it's kind of like our sounds for all the static sounds, and we work with Armstrong on the running sounds.
Brilliant.
I know it's something that Adam talked quite passionately about some of our Dev Diary content that we put out recently. If there's anyone in the chat that hasn't seen those, well worth a watch, and he does give a bit of an insight to obviously that recording process, and not just for the Azuma but for all the trains.
I missed something, and now the train's upset at me. So let's just say we were showcasing the AWS. It did pop up a thing on the top left to say why the train was braking, which is good.
You teed it up nicely though, Matt. You explained obviously what those controls did, and look, it's happened. So you've got a chance to put it into action now.
So we got the pressing the AWS button.
Oh man!
A 60-second timer to elapse. Release the brakes by pressing the AWS button. So don't sound so surprised, Jamie. You're faking it at this point.
Of course, sir.
We turn off the air conditioning then, okay?
Oh, they must be big fans if they want the air conditioning off.
That's it. Brakes are coming off, and we can go. That was so bad, Jamie. You can leave now.
That was a really bad one.
Right, so that was an AWS reset procedure. There's a 60-second lockout, and then you can use the AWS button. And if you when you press the AWS button, you'll see the brakes then immediately release once it's been cleared.
Does we had some questions that were in the Q&A. Does the 801 have working SDO?
Don't think so. I think there may be an automatic thing in there now that's doing that, but I'll need to go and double check that. So no, I don't think there's SDO in there. I know the team have been experimenting with having it auto-detect. Go on, sorry.
No, the other thing I was going to say is what function on the isolation panels do they have besides the AWS, TBWS, etc. And what you can have a look at that at the station, maybe.
Yeah, when we get to Retford, remember to call me out on that, or remind me to go and have a look at that.
Will do.
Can you see the pantograph? I will show the map at Retford, actually. Remind me, Jamie.
I will.
I'll
remind
we should
you
definitely show you. We should definitely show the map. What are we doing here? 111.
Oh, the neutral section there. Or the end of the neutral section.
Hello, 110. Yes, this route does feature neutral sections. I can't remember how many there are on the route, but there are neutral sections.
Bills, no plans in the roadmap to add King's Cross or any of the extensions. Actually, Matt, it would be a good time to say what about. Someone had asked about why we chose the section and what on the East Coast Main Line.
So we get a lot of requests for high-speed running. LGV is, we know, one of the most popular routes in the game, if not the most popular route in the game. The other thing we get a lot of requests for is to do something different in the UK rather than, another EMU commuter line. We looked at King's Cross to Peterborough, and aside from the fact that it does share a lot of commonality with some of the other stuff in terms of the style, the EMU commuter stuff, it's also a challenging one for us to build at the moment because there's a lot of stations, a lot of miles. So yeah, that one was going to be a challenge. So we started looking at other sections of the East Coast Main Line. I think my personal favourite is the north end up at Edinburgh. So Newcastle, Edinburgh, all that sort of area. I think it's beautiful up there, but that's about 140 miles. That's a bit longer. And then you've got then I think it was James actually was looking at sections and looked at Peterborough to Doncaster, and it's a nice high speed 125 miles an hour racetrack section. You've got a few stations along the way, so there's a bit more going on than there is in a route like LGV. So some trains will run non-stop and some will stop at intermediate stations, so there's a bit of service variety as well. And you've got a bit of freight running up and down the line as well, as you'll see as we saw when they looked at the services. So there's quite an interesting line with stuff to do, but if what you want to do is a high-speed blast, it will do that, and if you want to do other stuff, you can as well. There's also, I think, between Peterborough and Grantham, there's the 158s from Midland Mainline, so you get a little bit of stopping traffic there. It's only one station, but it's still quite a journey. And there's other trains that come in from other layers as well to bolster up the services. So you'll find the 700s running between the sidings and Peterborough, as you saw earlier on as well. So it is an interesting section, but it's the goal here was to do something a bit different, but to make sure that we definitely wanted to see some part of the East Coast Main Line and to bring the Azuma into the sim. So whether and when we'll look at another section of the ECML to be determined, but this is the first section we've done.
Thank you, Matt.
So I think there's this section. There's also some quite nice little quirks, both sort of historically in terms of events that have happened on this stretch of line. Obviously, we'll come on to Flying Scotsman at a later point, but I also like the idea. I think the stretch towards Peterborough, they trialled the 140 an hour running, and I know there's obviously plans, I think, in the future in real life to potentially introduce in-cab signalling and things into certain sections. But I like the idea of being able to go faster than 125 mile an hour, even though kind of prototypically it's not really allowed in the current setting. It is something that's been experimented with on this set stretch of line, and I think that's something quite exciting to have a go at in game, to be honest. Even though it'll obviously say that you're going over the speed limit, it's something that's almost real, almost prototypical, and I just think that's quite exciting.
Well, of course, the unique thing on the line that managed that was the flashing green aspect, which was unique to this area and was part of the trial and was an enhanced clear, I think it was called, and it gave driver, that was what told the driver they were clear to proceed up to 140 miles per hour, even though the speed limit on the track was still 125 back then. The conclusion of the test was that it was not clear enough what was happening, and in terms of could the driver reliably see the flashing green, the single green and so forth at the higher speeds, and the conclusion was that they weren't able to do that, and that's why the speed limit retained at 125 miles per hour with a sort of a direction that if you want to go faster than 125, it's got to be done with cab signalling with a much longer look ahead. But of course the flashing green aspect didn't get taken out. They're still there today and they're in the game. So as you're driving along and you see the flashing green aspect, treat it as a normal green signal, as the real drivers would. But you can, recognise and reflect that would have allowed the driver to proceed up to 140 during the trial. The Azuma itself is speed limited to 126 miles per hour, so even though it's capable of going 140, there's actually a lockout in the internal systems, which is represented in the game as well, so that when you hit 126, it cuts the power, so you shouldn't be able to exceed, at least through powered means. Obviously, if you're going downhill, gravity can do lots of stuff to help you, but certainly the motors won't take you above 126.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So you can't break the speed limit then and try and do the 140?
No, it's got the same safety systems as the real one.
Wow, that's interesting. I think I'd love to know the calculations behind the issue over seeing the green light at such a high speed, because I imagine something like the frequency of the flashing, but also the ability for a driver to blink at any given moment.
Yeah.
Probably those things all added together probably resulted in this issue where, I don't know, I guess there was a chance of missing the flashing green at some stage if you're just going that fast.
It's just too easy to get it wrong. The light's just gone green.
It was approach control there, wasn't it, I think?
Possibly, yes. I'll be being there's a diverging signal. That's why they wanted to make for absolute sure that we were slowed down before they changed the point.
Yep.
Because if for any reason I hadn't slowed down, then we'd be in a world of pain.
I can see James in the chat making a suggestion there, TGV in free roam. That's obviously my ticket to 140 plus, isn't it?
Well, the
Yeah, and
the
knocking out the
javelin,
bridges, probably.
the javelin will do 140 as well, of course.
Oh yes, of course. Javelin will do it, yeah.
So these are the high-level platforms, aren't they, at Retford? I know it's one of those sort of funny stations where it's almost two stations combined into one in the real world in terms of the high level and the low level. It's the high level on the East Coast Mainline, isn't it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'll
the
have a look.
Lincoln branch underneath, isn't it? Or Lincoln to... I can't remember where it is.
Is any
Yeah,
Jeff
Field,
Marshall
sorry.
fans in the chat? I know that his latest video starts at Retford that he published yesterday. So,
Funny enough, I was watching
quite
that
present.
lunchtime.
Right, let's come in for a stop.
So remember, Matt, we've got to look at all the back panel and what you can do in the back panel, and the map.
Doors open. Back panel. What have we got up here? Oh, hang on. I think put it in neutral will do. I'll turn the cab off. There you go. That will shut that up. Right. ETCS, which obviously is not simulated. DRA, SDO isolation. There's I don't know what that does if we turn it on. I'll try it. AWS, TBWS, Vigilance, DSD. That's it for those. Pantograph selection. Unit hatch close is used as part of the switchover process to diesel. Auxiliary power. What have we got here? Auxiliary off. Got your TPWS temporary isolation. You can open this, and then there's some stuff in here, I think. Maybe not. No, just opening a cupboard. Then you've got door controls inside the cab as well. All right, let's get the doors closed. Quick look at the map. So this is Doncaster. You can see Doncaster Works over here, and the freight yard that we passed here. We come down past Retford, and this is where you've got the low-level platform there. I'll take a look at that in a minute. And then as you scoot down the East Coast Mainline, you then end up in Peterborough, which is here, and this is the sidings where the 700s will run in and out of. So that's the route. Let's get. I need to actually active the cab again, and then I can shut the doors.
TPWS and AWS operational.
Yeah, apparently it's a 2-minute walk from the mainline platforms on the East Coast Mainline down to the Lincoln side platforms.
There you go.
Yeah, they're a bit further
Under cover there as well.
Valley from Birmingham Cross City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Continuing on at we've got a lower speed limit at the minute. And get back onto the main line, and then we'll get the 125 again.
Celtic Man, yes, they will be released. Scotsman will be released as separate DLC.
No plans for a 91 at this point in time. Another Azuma heading in the other direction. That one's a 5.
You crypto, yes, it is.
So it did the power on self-test when we switched on the this, but GSMR is very limited functionality anyway, because there's no one for it to talk to.
Someone's asked for the side panels that show the destinations on.
Where are we now? 91. I keep forgetting I've got the big old HUD running at the moment, so I don't have to look at the train. Lazy mode. Speed limit just dropped to 115.
Saw that Nigel asked about collectibles on the route as well. I know we've got the sort of classic posters that we tend to implement, and I think there's is it first aid defibrillators or some first aid kits that I've seen. That you can collect along
The first aid
place
kits
along
we've
the,
done before.
the
Yeah, I
route.
can't remember what the other ones are. You should be able to go into the freight yards. I mean, the freight trains in the services do as well. So free roam, you should be able to explore a lot of this route. Someone was saying, can you put two 9-car trains together? Someone was saying, can you put two 9-car trains together? In free roam, you can do whatever you like, but in service mode, no. Someone remind me to look at the power station between Newark Northgate and Grantham when we get there.
Will do.
Yanadunk says something about the collectibles. Wow, it's gone off the screen. There you go. Newspapers and water stations. There you go. I've got to be really honest with you. I love the Azuma, but I've been driving this route a lot more with the Scotsman.
Yeah, same. Are services that wouldn't be run by the 801 included as well?
Sorry again, sorry.
So are services that aren't included with the 801 included in the timetable as well.
So I think the services that are run by 91s have been implemented using the Azuma to bulk the timetable up.
And another question has been: does the door open at doors open at different times, and is the strength of the brake affected by passenger count, like on the 323?
I don't know the answer to those questions, I've got to be honest. Doors won't open at different times, they'll all open at the same time, but in regards to the weight of the train and the brakes, I don't know about that. Make a note of that one and we'll ask the simulation people afterwards. I know this was quite a tricky train for the sim people. Sorry, go, Karen.
Sorry, Matt. I was just going to say, Terry's asked about the Mallard plaque, the record-breaking plaque along the route. That's been implemented, I think. We've shown
Yeah, it has.
that, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. It certainly has.
All around Newcastle, yes, it does. Engineering Gaming, you haven't got long to wait. It will be. It is in there. Don't worry.
Elliot says, why is Coach A the first, not Coach M? I don't know the specifics, but we'll look into that. Can you make a note of that one as well, please, Jamie? Get an answer for you.
Sorry?
So, where was it? Simon James, why is first class A when it should be M? So let me make a note of that one so that I can go and get an answer for that. Or if it's wrong, put it on someone's list to fix. We're leaving the air conditioning off at the moment. I'll let you turn it on at your leisure. Oh, well, there are no auto announcements, Kabepe. There's no onboard announcement system.
Oh, look at that. Going past at 125, another Azuma goes past at the same speed. Fun seeing that.
Should have done that photo when the other train came past.
While you're doing this.
I'll try and remember to take a photo when there's another train so that we can do a flyby type picture.
That'd be good, yeah.
Dynamic weather is not turned on, no, Lorenzo, because if it suddenly becomes super foggy and raining and you can't see the route anymore, it's kind of defeating the point of the stream. No, the TMS is not like the one on 385 Roblox.
Someone's asked, do the level crossings raise and lower along the route in free roam or on service mode?
Yep, the level crossings are linked to the signalling system, so they'll be going down as, the thing is they'll be going down long before you get to them. Because in order for you to get a green signal, all the blocks ahead must be allocated, including level crossings that are along the way. So, yeah, you'll find that if from a driver's perspective, you probably won't see level crossing gates up. But if you go and actually spawn on foot and watch them, you see the gates going up and down.
Saw someone in the chat asking about early access and when the game comes out on the 26th. If you buy the game after the 21st, you'll still be able to gain access to the early access. It will still be as a pre-order, but you will get immediate access to the game if it's deluxe or special edition, that is.
Right. Actually, no, let's do it this way around. That will do. Options, photo mode. Nice view of the trees. Here we go.
Oh, that's timed perfectly. Look at that.
You've done this before, Matt.
I'm going to get the fence in. Well, I've zoomed in so much.
I think this is such a great feature. I know it's really enhanced our ability to really show off the best of some of our in-game trains and routes. Again, some of the articles we put out recently have featured some, images from beta testers and also just people in our creative team and our development team taking all these shots, and it's just added an extra level to some of these views. I think it's fantastic. Some of the first we showed, of course, was from the Just Trains route coming, and I just think it's a brilliant tool to be able to play with the settings and really show things off in such a great light. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Let me come back. It's like, will you get on with it now, please? Focal point is... I'll do. And then you can swip over to this side setting over here, and we can overexpose it.
You see what James has put in the chat. A realistic look at how much longer services will take when you take photos.
Confirmed. This is absolutely true. Some of the beta testers have said the only problem with this feature is it now takes me 4 hours to finish any service.
I did call Train Spotter. It isn't a midnight release. We'll show you the timings probably when we split off to the next bit. We'll go through all the details exactly of timings tomorrow for early access and for release date. He's JP, it is. It's nice when you go along here because a lot of the signal boxes are still about, aren't they, as well? The crossings.
Few miles out of Newark. I suppose we're coming up to the flat crossing, aren't we? Probably worth a look at that, I'd have thought.
Yes. Wait, there's the crossing right up there.
I will give you the weight of these EMUs. Heavy.
There it is.
Oh, hasn't got the weight.
There's my train. Looks in every direction except the one the train is in. There it is. Found it.
It's always the last one.
So for those that aren't aware, this is the final flat crossing available on the standard gauge main line in the sort of British network. I think there is one other one on a narrow gauge railway somewhere. James, is it the Welsh Highland Railway?
The Welsh Highland has a standard gauge with narrow gauge, so it goes over a standard gauge. but it's obviously narrow gauge. But this is the only, I think, standard gauge.
Quite strange, isn't it?
Crossing.
Because I know, I mean, people in the chat that are probably familiar with US content will know that crossings are quite regular over there. You can see them quite often with big, long freight lines crossing one another, you know, for the first time in however many miles. But for us here in the UK, there's just none left other than those two that we've just mentioned. So it's nice.
When you guys are saying audio issues, what is it that's the audio? Is it all audio? Is it train or game audio? Is it people audio? What's the actual issue? Right, we're just pulling in. All audio, right. I'll go and restart the audio system in a second then. Hang on. I'll pull in here.
It's a good place to stop anyway.
Yep, Newark North Gates. Audio is fine, they should refresh. Can someone with an issue try doing a refresh? Or is it only on YouTube there's an issue and maybe it's Twitch it's okay?
Let me just listen to this a minute. Hang on.
Doors open. The new baggage. See some really cool posters that the team have come up with, which are really, really neat. Possibly the best newspaper container in the world ever.
What's the newspaper say this time round?
Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. Is coffee the new water? Duh. Get going in just a second. LNER water refill points. This is some of the new dioramas, where you've got little animations and characters in various places along stations.
I'm guessing that's someone, an engineer, having a meeting.
Doing something, that's for sure.
Someone said, "Is that Lewis Hamilton?"
Well, he weren't hanging around, was he? Right, let's get the doors closed.
It's alright, Mole Man, we're running to British time, it's alright.
We're off to Grantham.
We will look at Scotsman not long after this one, so don't worry.
Mole Man, if I don't understand why you're surprised I'm running late. This feels like running late should be the norm. Remember the power station? Yeah, where is the power station down here?
I don't actually know. Do you know, Joe, where it is?
It's got to be before we get to Grantham. A lot of people requesting the power station.
I must admit, I can't remember the last time I actually came into this Scotsman one.
This stretch down to Grantham's probably the bit that I'm most familiar with. I did a bit of spotting at Frinkley Lane level crossing a couple of years ago, catching a lot of Azumas actually. Lovely stretch of countryside there, and you get to see really far down both directions on the ECML. And what's great is that there's a number of different crossings that all give their warnings at different times, so you can always tell there's a train coming from about 5 miles away, because there's this cascade of level crossings that you hear all the way through until it eventually gets to the one you're on. And because it's raised on an embankment, you can sort of sit down. It's public footpath. It's all public right of way, and you can get some absolutely fantastic photographs from here. Just north of Grantham. So we've got that short.
Yeah, Stone Market, where I used to do train spotting on the GML, it's the same. There's 2 level crossings very close by, and you could use that to determine which way the next train was coming. Airborne, there's a number of different things coming in. So Midland Mainline provides an awful lot of extra service. Being slowed down. Or we're chasing or something. Then because that provides 158 and class and HST services. Oh, we've got green again. Speed back up. And what else? So 158 and HST services. You've got the 700 doing shuttle runs Peterborough to the sidings, because actually the 700 just runs south of Peterborough. Then you've got the West Somerset 47 doing a heritage run. You've got... I can't remember. I showed them all at the beginning, if you want to go back to the beginning of the stream.
In the article that we published today, we've also got a breakdown of all the native services within the East Coast Main Line, so specifically what the Azuma is doing, what the Class 66 is doing. So if you want to take a look at that, you can have a look at exactly where they're terminating, which services they're going from and to, how often they're stopping, the stopping patterns as well. Oh
yes, 66 is on freight workings as well. Yes, Derek. All sorts. There's quite a bit of variety actually that the team have put into this one. Eight miles for Grantham. Sorry, numbering of trains. Someone mentioned that earlier on, and it came up in the video. You'll notice the numbering is wrong. Same for the front. So the numbering of the trains is incorrect, and it will be shipping like that. Unfortunately, there was something at the very last minute has broken the numbering of the trains. So, and it's in the core game code. Which is a slightly more risky fix and not one you do at the last minute. So that one will get fixed as soon as possible. But no, it is shipping like that, I'm afraid.
What did you say, Joe? You were about to say something?
Oh, I was just saying that Moleman's very keen on getting the 08 somewhere just to set the signalling in free roam. I know he mentioned it in the free roam stream, I think, and he's really keen on it. Just wants to cause chaos.
How would code break that? I have no idea, XYX. If someone can tell me, that would be fantastic. It was. It's one of those things where something has been working and then suddenly it stops working, and it's infuriating. But it is what it is. The setup team have checked everything that's set up, and as far as they can see, it's all set up correctly. But the game is just not using it. So either could be code somewhere, it could be art. Maybe something has changed with the decal assets, but it'll get looked into. It'll get fixed. It's not good. I agree. Five miles to Grantham.
Cameron's asked, can we do some traction motor sounds at Grantham when you leave Grantham?
Yeah, sure. I presume you mean an exterior pull away.
That's exactly what I meant, sorry.
The Mallard speed limit sign is on, yes, Robert. Got to be honest, I've not found it myself yet, but I've seen loads of screenshots of it.
Trying to remember when it is. I always look out for it every time I go on the East Coast Mainline.
It would be up to Rivet to modify Edinburgh if they wish to do so, but I'm not aware that. I don't think that has happened. I don't think this train has any kind of speed selector or cruise control, no. Yes, the Edinburgh 250 miles sign is somewhere on the line as well. I've seen screenshots of that one as well. Between Grantham and Peterborough on Stoke Bank. Okay. Maybe we'll have better luck finding that than the power station.
Quite an interesting thing, because I think it's the only route in the UK that's got signs like that really left.
Hmm. I don't have a date for the suspension stuff, but I'm going to show you it on the 323 at the end of the stream, so you can see where it's going. When I've got more news on that, we'll let you know.
Are you saying the spotter? Yes, we have. Yeah. I mean, they're local units for me, so I know they're in there. 158, see them on a regular now. Although amazingly, we see some 170s do that now.
Massively over braking. This thing has got really good brakes, and I keep over braking. Main difference between this and the 800 is the 800 is a hybrid. It's got diesel, 3 diesel engines, whereas this has only got 1 diesel engine. So the diesel engine in this is a self-rescue facility, and I think in reality they actually can't even start it up without written permission from Hitachi or something. And it's used to self-rescue the train if it gets stuck because of an electrical issue. It's only slow. So on a 9-car train, I think it can only do about 35 miles an hour or something like that. Well, I'm erring towards undershooting rather than overshooting, Sophie, because undershooting is just makes me look bad on the timings, and honestly, only Moleman seems to be going on about that, so that's all good. Or there is no auto-announce facility on the train, no, Airborne Paddy. Stations, I think, have got generic announcements, but that's it. Oh, hello.
They're doing that.
We're having a wander.
Having a wander.
We're late, so in for a penny, in for a pound. That's my view.
A defibrillator thing, what to do? There's the water bottles there. Oh, we've got them.
They do kind of look like that, don't they?
Yeah.
Always end with a split. Nice. So I look at some of these adverts and I'm like, I want to see this movie and I want to eat that chocolate bar.
Stretch, that sense.
Look at this. This I really like. The team have put these on here, which are the cafeterias and things. And again, you can see the characters with the dioramas which will be doing various different things. There's the Danny Special on the on here, and I think one of them actually allows you to pay for good customer service as well. So the team have gone to town on those things. Anyway, that's this. I was looking for one of those cafeteria things. So there's 3 or 4 different types of the of that one. That's the Liquid Bean Cafe. There's the Sand Wedge. I'll let you use your imagination to figure out what they sell. Get back in our train.
Passengers all shaking their heads at you, mate.
So are the viewers, I suspect.
TPWS and AWS
Oh, look.
operational.
158 over here.
158.
That's amazing. I know I shared these with Jamie earlier in the week, or a couple of other people. That I did some spotting at Grantham as well a few years ago on that same stretch. Oh, actually, I better. We want to do traction motors, don't we?
On our way to Peterborough now.
Lovely.
But somewhere along this stretch, we were talking about the flashing green aspect and the testing for the high speed, 140. But that must be somewhere along this stretch, I guess. Stoke Tunnel, I think, was one of the areas.
With the safety systems on, I can't really get into the passenger section. I'll leave you to explore that one for yourself. I imagine it's very
We
similar
had
to the
that at the
cab,
start
though.
as well, so you can always. Don't panic, people. We'll be doing Scotsman very soon. Don't panic. They're getting impatient, Matt.
I'm hunting out, looking for the 126 miles per hour sign. We're at 109. Oh, look! Look! Bye-bye, HST, slow coach.
Oh, HST. Waiting for us. Yeah, it's left-hand side down this way, too. So I think we're going to come down Stoke Bank, aren't we?
Still climbing at the moment. We didn't do HST LNLER livery because it would be wrong. We don't have that HST, as far as I'm aware. So, and it's not just a change of livery, you've got new interiors and so forth as well. And actually the Azuma was a massive project for the team.
Now, Wolf Boy, is Joe who has joined us. Joe is, well, I don't think Joe, some of them have known who you are, so, I mean, you might as well introduce yourself a little bit as well.
Yeah, hi Wolf Boy, hi everyone. People that watched the Steam Summer Sale lessons at Railway Stream with Alex a few months ago. Yeah, I'm the brand manager for Train Sim World, so if you've read some of the articles that we published recently about each of the routes, going a little bit deeper into the timetables and the history and that kind of thing with the new screenshots, I'm responsible for those. So yeah, great to be here. It's quite exciting for me to be live on a stream, and again, especially with the likes of Matt and Jamie, and especially sitting and watching East Coast Mainline. I'm also very excited to see Flying Scotsman, so can't wait to see that.
I don't know if folks have noticed the flashing green aspects we've been going past recently. That's them. Still need to speed that camera up, don't I? But yeah, it's not flashing very well, but yeah, it is flashing. You'll see it more in some cases than others. It's because of the timing between the flare effect and the LED and the lighting that switches on and off. That one's not flashing. You can't speed the cameras up at the moment, LWL. That's something I need to we need to think about for an update. All these trains that can go faster than the camera.
Well, I think, chat, I think 140 might happen again. I mean, if we do have in-cab signalling, that conversation might start up again.
Oh, almost certainly. I mean, the UK is switching over to ELTMS.
Yeah.
Miles. This is the longest stretch. That was the flashing green. Like I said, just treat flashing green as if it was a solid green. That's basically how what it works in these days. The reason it hasn't been removed in reality is because changing signal aspects, it's a really costly exercise with lots of associated risks and things that can go wrong. And actually, you don't need to. It's just tell the drivers flashing green equals green and everybody's happy. So it's an unnecessary risk, because if something was to go wrong and the signals were to not work or cause confusion, there could be delays to trains or worse, accidents. So it's if it's not a necessary change, you don't do it.
Very good point, Moleman. Yes, loads and loads of paperwork. And when you could just have a little line in manuals that say flashing green equals green versus everything else going wrong and changing everything. No reply. They were for trialling 140 miles an hour to make it sure that the driver knew within the next aspects were green.
Yeah, it gives an enhanced clear aspect when it was in use that allowed the driver to know that they were clear to run up to beyond the speed limit of up to 140 miles per hour. And it was discontinued because when they reviewed it from a safety perspective, they felt that flashing green could be mistaken or the green could be mistaken as flashing green. It was too open for mistakes, and so they decided they abandoned the trial, but they left the aspects where they were. Oh, I just passed the sign. Oh well, see, fast asleep.
Well, good point, Gracie. Someone said, why didn't they design double greens instead of flashing?
Probably because the aspects at the I think they probably only had one green bulb, if you want to put it in such simple terms. Making a bulb that exists flash is easy. Adding a new bulb is difficult. You know, if you've watched Red Dwarf, you'll know just how severe this kind of thing can be. It's about you say maybe blue but blue and green are difficult to apart. In fact, there's a bit of a bluish tinge to the green signals. No, the ruling was wait for cab signalling to come about, and we're almost there now. So once we've got cab signalling, then they can revise it. Clearly, this is not a bendy, twisty line, so. The infrastructure, I think, is more than capable of supporting 140. It's just getting the safety side of it sorted out, which the ERTMS will do. So it's it's coming.
They certainly cut the journey times.
Try and get a bit ahead of the train so we can do a flyby, yeah?
Lovely.
Yeah, I don't really do that very well, but there you go.
It's alright.
7.5 miles. It's a 9. Horn recorded from an Azuma 801/2 Maquico Gaming. Scotsman is next.
Yep. The slow drum roll has started.
Oh, hello, we've got a freight train over here on the right.
Look at that Paolo running. Look at that.
You know what I need to do right now?
I know what you're going to do.
Out there. It's the right buttons. What can we do here? There we go. Bye bye 66. Yeah, sorry, we're doing the diesel motor zoom. We're doing the diesel motor zoomer next. Sorry, Flying Scotsman is after that. Yes, diesel motor zoomer is next. It's about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a double five.
List of things we're going to do.
That was a double five.
Pardon?
That was a double five. Look, that one.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're just showing you that with the diesel mode, we won't be on there for too long. It's just something short, isn't it, Matt? Just to show.
It's a unique, cool thing. The ability to switch the diesel engine on, and we'll show you that. You can hear the sounds for it as well. It's got pretty cool sounds. I believe you can drive the double fives. Yeah.
A few people saying they're looking forward to the Plus 66 freight services. I'm looking forward to those as well. I think that'll add something a bit different to.
I mean, that 2 hour 50 freight service has got to be played, hasn't it? That's going to have to be absolute mayhem.
And the 66 that's included is it's a weathered version, but it's not the same as the RHTT. It's got all that stuff from me, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
it's a normal 66 without those controls in it, but it's heavily weathered.
You normally have them all lined up as you come into Peterborough, don't you, as well? Remember, Matt, don't come too harshly into speed into Peterborough.
No, the way I'm driving tonight would be lucky to make it into Peterborough. I'll have stopped. Look what's sitting here waiting for us. Well, actually, it's left without us. This is what my Moleman said.
Leaving.
It's important that you're on time. Oops.
Scotsman couldn't wait for us.
Doesn't wait for anyone, I don't think.
No.
And we ride into Peterborough. I'm actually arriving early. That can't be right.
You gained time, Matt. Where's that come from?
Oh, I don't know. Do I demand a recount? I was speeding? No. You imagined it. That didn't really happen. Any recording proving me otherwise is clearly fabricated. Have a wander around Peterborough. Oh, train, really? Shut up.
It's telling you off again. You know, Peterborough's quite an interesting station because it's had quite a few upgrades over the years. So this platform that we're in now, I don't think existed not that long ago. So I can remember having all the upgrades being done, and that was to separate the angular services a little bit better.
mean, the amazing thing about Peterborough Station is that it arguably shouldn't be on the East Coast Main Line at all. It was originally planned to go through Stamford, and it was only because Lord Exeter didn't want the railway going through his land that they decided to divert and build it through Peterborough instead.
And also, the other interesting thing is... Oh, there you go. Look at that. The Jawbreaker.
Extra customer service. There you go, look. This is Sandwich,
There we
isn't
go.
it? Yeah, this is Sandwich. But this is where you see random queues as well, and this guy is watching, is looking at the till. Sometimes you'll see him gazing at his phone. So this the character team have really done some cool stuff, and you'll find other character dioramas dotted around the route as well, with engineers doing stuff. Sandwich Cafe. Well, another liquid bean cafe down here with obligatory kitty cat.
Just looking at you. Yeah.
I know some people like the cats.
God, this is so uncanny. I went to Peterborough not that long ago, and it's weird walking around the station, like actually like in game. It's really cool. One question, Matt. Do services come through non-stop through Peterborough as well?
I think so. I would need to get double check that with Joe. You see lots of
obviously
Ellen, yeah.
services that will go through like non-stop to Peterborough, and then, or
Yeah.
non-stop through Peterborough and like stop in Doncaster or somewhere. This is the platform normally to Norwich. I think, or was it the other one? It might be the other one actually.
One of them certainly is. Oh, off it goes.
Down towards Ely. Yeah, it's
Right. Okay. I think we have had a look at that. I think what we need to do now is have a look at the diesel with the limping off scenario, and then we'll get on to that kettle that everyone wants to see. So let us go East Coast Mainline, limping off. We're not going to do this whole scenario. We're just doing basically the run into the depot, which is the first bit, because effectively you run into the depot, change trains, and bring another one out.
Logwood Tales. I will tell you all about Scotsman when we start streaming, so don't panic.
Train has suffered an electrical fault and will be taken to the depot under the power of the diesel engine. And we've got to go and talk to Emily. Hi driver, this train is taking to the depot. Take the train to the depot, collect your replacement train. Thank you very much. I will do just that. To do this, unit hatch close. Switch it to diesel. And then we press engine start. Hear the diesel start. Pantograph down. We are good to go on diesel. These things, like I said, they've only got the one diesel engine. You ain't going anywhere quickly with it.
You see the power difference, can't you? That's mad.
Well, you've got one diesel engine hauling a 9-car train. It's gutless, to be honest. But we've got a low speed
Not a happy
limit for
bunny
most
at
of
that
this
point.
journey. The 800, which has got, it's exactly the same, but it's got 3 of these engines that this has only got 1 of. So in terms of modelling differences, I think you've got more exhausts up here and more stuff down here, I think, if I remember rightly. Problem is the team couldn't actually get access to an 800. They only got access to the 801.
I remember when we first did the keynote, because it was those of you that have been with us since we first announced Train Cinema 4, Lucas mentioned in the keynote about doing the West Somerset Railway route with the diesel power. And at the time I thought, oh, that sounds like a really interesting idea, but now appreciating how slow this is, I can imagine it would be torturous. And I'm saying that as someone who plays the West Somerset Railway route all the time.
Well, you'd be able to keep to the speed limit at least.
Well, that's very true.
It'd be very damp there.
You don't really get much diesel engine sound in the cab because the diesel engine's back of the train. It's back here somewhere. Remember rightly, the diesel engine is kind of here. You don't really hear it in the cab. Oh, got the white light. We are 15 miles an hour, and then we're dropping to 5 once we get into the depot. What you'll find is that the 5, I think from what James who did the simulation was saying, he said the 9 car on diesel can probably do about 35. The 5 car on diesel can probably do about 50. And if you've got 2 5 cars and you put them both on diesel, then you get a bit faster. But it's yeah, don't expect massive performance out of these things. Not what they're there for. And like I said, in reality, as far as I understand it, they can't simply just decide to turn the diesel engine on. It's got to be approved by Hitachi when they use the diesel engine. These are very much exceptional circumstance. In fact, this is a 5.
It is a 5, yeah.
Yeah, this is a 5. So this is a this is a race car. Well, any train I'm driving has enough power to speed an Echo Angel.
Shall we move on, Matt?
I just wanted to show the depot actually. Let me speed up just so that we can roll into the depot and you can see the Hitachi depot.
Ah, that's true.
Because that's quite nice. It's just up here in front of us. No, I think it's all done by the thing called a telephone when they want to get Hitachi approval. I don't think someone physically needs to be there.
Interesting topic though, because at some point the debate must have come up about whether having the diesel engine present for emergency use was more efficient use of time than having locos come and rescue them or other units come and rescue them. There must have been that argument at some stage, and that was obviously the solution that they decided. I'd be interested to know exactly why, what the someone mentioned in the chat further up about testing it and the fact that someone's presumably got to be employed and trained to use it. It's an interesting topic. I'd quite like to get into that at some stage with how that came about, what the decision was, what the argument was.
Coming into the Apache depot at Doncaster. Rather too fast, but hey, we'll all be good. Wonder why they have to call Hitachi, because Hitachi operate the maintenance contracts. It's like having if you've got a servicing deal on your car, you shouldn't be messing with your car without talking to the people who run the servicing, or it might invalidate your warranty. Yes, the 800 using diesel is different because it's designed to do that in production. In this case, it is an exceptional recovery system. Why is there a plug socket in the cab? I don't know. I'm guessing that's something you might have to ask Hitachi.
When we first jumped in the cab.
Phone charging, iPad charging. Sometimes
yeah, I mean they do
don't
use iPads, so it could be part of the part of that. Although and it's got 2 USBs on it, so right. Anyway, we're in.
On the
Let's just have a quick fly around. This is the Hitachi depot. And then in this scenario, there you go. Look, these are some of the other dioramas. This is quite cool actually, because these are if you follow Unreal developments, you'll know that they have this new tech called metahumans, which are higher definition characters, a new system they're doing for characters. And the team have started experimenting with metahumans, and these are 2 metahumans characters. So this is a much higher definition character compared to the normal NPCs. And actually, this character is based on one of our team members, he modelled for this, and they went through a process using an iPhone to do a 3D capture, and then convert that into the metahuman system, and then the character team have then built the animations for it and so forth. And it's a really, really neat process. So it could change how we look at doing characters quite nicely. So this is sort of a first experimentation with that tech, trying to understand what we can do with it. In this scenario, you come out, and I think you come and get this train and take it. So, right, okay.
It's time.
It's time. Drum roll, please. Sorry,
Plug socket is for drivers' tablets, says Andy Burbage. That makes sense. Right, okay. So we are going to do the re-record scenario. There's one thing I'm really, really hyped to show, just because it's very cool, and we'll do it before we get started. Scotsman.
Here she is, everyone.
Not the Fly Inc. Scotsman.
Yeah. Put your lamps on. There we go.
Well, before we get started,
Got to show them something special.
I did see a few people asking about this in the chat earlier. Didn't want to spoil the surprise.
so yes, you can. You have to crouch. Remember to crouch. Right, so we've got a few things to play with on here. We've got the cupboard for that. I think there's much you can do in here. The GSMR isn't interactive. You've got the door for the coal. You've got the flap there. This flap here. Obviously, you've got your doors. You've got your water level indicator.
Forward.
This has got a sticker of a smiley face over it there in the real one.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't pull that forward.
Right, okay. Let's get the doors open. Let's get this wound forward. No. Grizzly is backwards. You have to wind it left to go forwards. This is a real thing. Don't blame us.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the safety systems off because they're just going to ruin the mood. But what I will do is turn them on. Because that's cool. But I've turned them off again now.
You want to show him in the firebox, Matt?
Can't really get down any further than that.
I can feel that. I don't know about anybody else. I feel it coming through the screen.
It's got the usual range of full animation on things like the reverser as well. So this is the reverser bar across here, and you can see how that interferes, works with the reverser linkage. So if I now wind it backwards, you can see everything is moving and animated as it should be. Moving it back to forwards again.
It doesn't have any headboards, unfortunately.
They can't mute the safety valves. They've been turned down to the levels of peak forest, but trust me, the safety valves will be going off very shortly, as in going away, because once we get up to speed, we can get rid of it easily. So what have you got? You got this thing. One of the things actually to be very aware of with this train is this is dual braked with vacuum and air. So you've got the large and small ejectors here, and this is your vacuum brake gauge, but this is an air braked train, so that drumming sound is the Westinghouse air brake. That thing, it's just under here somewhere, but that's the air brake topping up the brakes. But this train is air braked, so we've gone with an air braked train for modern fast transit rather than going with the older Mark 1s. And based on some photographs we saw which had this, we thought it'd be a bit different, which then means you're using the air brakes on the train rather than the vacuum brakes. So if you're using a rail driver, make sure that the control for your ejector is off before you get in the train, because if you set a vacuum, you'll need to go and release it from the coach or release from the tender before you can release the brakes again and use the air brake system. So just bear that in mind. If you touch the vacuum brake system, you've got to then release the vacuum brake cylinder before you can use the air again. This is the air brake control down here. This is your loco brake control. This is the air brake gauges. Speedometer, steam chest pressure, boiler pressure. We're almost there on the loading of passengers nonsense.
And the other thing...
Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so obviously as well, we have a Mark 1 set that you can use for free roam as well.
Yes.
Which will use the vacuum spec. I think it's 12 Mark 1s you can use for that. Delta Man, it's quite a long one, so you can hold it down, and you can quill it a little bit, I think.
Lock the doors.
Hello, Laserjet. How are we doing?
Just release the brakes. See the brakes coming off. Should do 100 miles an hour, same as the real one, Sophie. The speed limit is here is driving me up the wall. There we go.
We can't hear chat, by the way, so we're just like, oh. Flybys here. Stand up on this footbridge, shall we? Total Trust, you don't always have diesels on the back. It's just
no, it's if they want heating support, really, normally. I think while I'm in the cab, we might need to turn the game audio down. I don't know if you can hear me or anything, or yourselves. Turn the audio down a bit. We've had lots of audio now. You will still be there, but we need to, you know, you need to hear us. It's still going to be loud.
I was saying that it's a big project. First step in the state a couple of years ago.
No, I don't know about everybody else. I can't hear Jamie talking, so I'm going to turn it down again.
Can you hear me now?
Hopefully. Talk up. Speak loud.
I said with Scotsman, it's been quite a big project. It took quite a couple of years, hasn't it?
Well, one person was actually initially working it on their own because they wanted to model it. It's probably only taken about 3 months or so to bring it to fruition. But that's with a lot of people now working on it. So it's been a sort of a passion project of bringing the Scotsman to the game is just a must-have. So I'm just going to hold it at 75. We stick at 75 for a little while now. So we go down to sort of about here, I think, before we get clearance for the 100. So we've got a little ways to go. Just maintain it at 75. Keep the boiler pressure going. It's actually quite easy to drive because it's a really powerful locomotive.
It's the largest engine we've actually had in game, isn't it, as well? It's the largest steam engine.
Yes, it is. The other thing that's been noted a few times on the forums.
Quartering. So I can tell about a little bit about quartering because I've had to do it.
Well, let me just pause the game
so
for a minute.
quartering.
While you talk, why don't I show these? Now talk.
Ta-da! There we are. So as people were saying how shiny Scotsman looks, that's it's at Keighley and Worth Valley just recently, and as you can see, the buffers are quartered. And this is a technique that you use Amorite paper, I think it is, and paraffin and oil, and you basically scrape the buffers until you get that nice shine. So you leave some of it like shiny and some of it, and that gives you that quartering effect. And it shows you how clean Scotsman actually looks. It's just spotless. I mean, when we've seen it recently, it's just been amazing.
So yes, if anyone says it's missing textures on the buffers, then that's what's going on. It's not missing textures. It's completely authentic.
Yeah. What are you saying, Joe? There, sorry.
I was just saying it's the equivalent of putting your black tie on, or your evening cocktail dress, or your suit that's your best dress. Frankly, I've never seen a flying Scotsman without good buffers, because it's always looking at its best. It's always presenting in the best way possible. But it's not limited just to flying Scotsman. If you go to a heritage railway and they've just recently restored a loco, they might well quarter the buffers when they unveil it, or re-livery it, or present it for some publicity shots, or take it on the Mainline for the first time in X number of years, or what have you. So it's quite a common practice in the heritage scene. But as I say, I don't think I've ever seen flying Scotsman without quarter buffers. So it's definitely representative of how most people see it in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
The fireman is not going to be shoveling coal. I can't remember. I don't know who it was that asked that question. It's gone off the top of the screen. But no, this fireman is not shoveling coal. The animation for that one didn't work out, so it was stopped. At some point we hope to come back to do it, but I'm not going to make promise on that. Oh, hello. Speeding a bit now.
Railway guy, yes, you can go through the corridor tender, but you need to crouch.
I showed it before we started moving.
Yeah. And actually, at certain angles, you can see the third cylinder working, can't you, as well, in the centre.
Can you?
The gap in the frames, I think, between the boiler and the frames, I think you can see that at the top. I've seen it.
Don't know. Oh, maybe here. Yeah, there it is. Look.
There Yeah, so the white roof has been a recent thing. The white roof was for pulling King Charles along the North Yorkshire moors, but we haven't included it on this other map.
I believe Livery Designer allows you to modify the roof, so fairly boots.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Livery Designer compatible, John. And the beta team have made this in blue. Because obviously.
So I know we had a couple of questions from the community in the forums. So as we said about will Scotsman, one had asked, will Scotsman use the bloody custom Mark 1s or the limited to Crimson? As we said in that set, that Mark 1 set is a mixed set, so I think it's mixed blood and custard and Crimson Mark 1s. Someone else, a question for you, Matt. Does the Loco have similar performance to the Jubilee?
It's got a whole new performance simulation on it, built specifically for the Flying Scotsman, done by Mr. Fisk actually, who did the 4F as well. So no, it's a whole new simulation based on the actual performance of the Flying Scotsman. I mean, this goes a lot faster than the Jubilee does for a start.
Yeah. And I'm guessing, but there hasn't been any like steam physics improvements on existing.
No, the core simulation and the simulation of the firebox and so forth is the same as it was previously. There's been no changes there.
There was a question on chat there. When we're like looking at building future UK modern routes, will Scotsman be considered to put in for rail tools?
I'm sure it will be. I wouldn't want to guarantee it, but knowing the gameplay team, they will be finding everywhere they can possibly put it. There's a Jubilee rail tour, I think, on ECML as well. I'd say one of the layers is for this for the Spirits team.
And if not, free roam.
If not free roam, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, free roam is always a possibility.
Recently is having to go West Somerset and put in all the steam locos at West Somerset.
So I'm not going any faster than 75 because I'm not cleared to do so. The scenario wants me to continue down the line, and basically we wait until we go down Stoke Bank. We've got a nice long downhill stretch, then get us up to the 100 miles an hour. Couple of waypoints before we get the build up. Would this work with double header? I think so, because double heading is a feature now, but I don't know whether or not that needs to be done on a per scenario basis. But Peak Forest introduced double heading.
I haven't tried it yet. It's something I'll see if I can try it and let you know, Chet.
Scotsman throw up any additional challenges? I can't remember whether the steam simulation did. The air brakes didn't, because we've done that before. Just the simple thing like this door here was a problem, because it's two door components on two different vehicles. and it needs to be independent. It needs to be animated to work together. That was not a big problem, but it was something a little bit of a wrinkle.
Corridor tender would be the biggest one, probably.
Yeah, for a while there, we weren't sure if the corridor tender was going to happen in terms of whether you could walk through it, but that eventually, came. We made that work. You want to drive the Scotsman first, Morgan. It's obvious, really. Like I said, at these speeds, you don't have to worry about the safeties at all.
TM Railways has asked, how come you haven't added the tarpaulin in between the cab, roof and tender?
No, that's true, they haven't. I will mention that to the team and find out what the reasoning was there. Cool, we're almost at Retford. Let's go and stand on the platform.
Michael's hit the nail on the head with the two features that I'm looking forward to, at least when I play tomorrow, which is free roam and flying Scotsman. I think they're the standout features for me with this, being able to just take it anywhere, do what you want with it. Rail talk, the heart's content.
Does the Scotsman have neutral sections? Absolutely, Sim Wildlife. Dave Law, I'm not using vacuum brakes. This is something, let me reiterate that actually, because this is going to confuse people and you're going to find the train won't move. If you are running this train with these coaches, so like the Mark IIs here, these are air braked stock. They are not vacuum braked stock. And this train does both. These are your ejectors should only be used if you want to create a vacuum. And if you create a vacuum, then you can only use the vacuum brakes. So you will need to destroy the vacuum to then be able to use the air, which involves closing the ejectors, and then there's a lever you've got to pull to release the brakes on the tender. Otherwise, you'll be sitting here releasing the air brakes, and you won't be able to get the train moving properly. So be careful unless you're using vacuum braked stock. Don't touch these because they'll just get in your way.
Yes, I'm looking at making a tutorial as well, guys. So I'm sure we'll be streaming Scotsman as well after release. So we'll make sure that that is mentioned.
I would demonstrate it Sim Wildlife, but I'm not actually sure where the pull cord is to release the brake. And we're here to try and brake lots of, we go 100 miles an hour, so. Yeah, we're going uphill at the moment.
Yeah, you can. You can customise the livery design.
Let the boiler pressure edge up a little bit again. Chamber release on the loco is near the reverse, so the chamber release on the tender is near the water gauge. There you go. Oh, the tender is over here, isn't it? There you go, vacuum chamber release, so you need to use that to release it over here. And where it is on the, where did he say it was on the loco? Near the reverser.
It's under near the reverser, yeah.
So that's the reverser.
Between the reverser and the brake.
There it is, vacuum chamber release there. So you need to pull that one as well. And then the brakes, the vacuum brakes release, and then you can use the air brake.
Mark, so Scotsman has been in LNER green, Great Northern green, LNER green, Northeastern black, British Railways blue, British Railways green. That's it, yes.
And Matt Pedalston pink.
Oh, and Matt Pedalston pink, yes.
What do the vacuum brakes do? So there's two braking systems on this train, really. The original vacuum brakes and the more modern air brakes. And what you use depends on what you've got coupled up behind you. So if you've got vacuum brake stock, you have to use the vacuum brakes. If you've got air brake stock, you have to use the air brakes. These coaches are all air braked. But the BG is dual, but these are all air braked. You normally find something written on it. Thank you. You normally find something written on the coach telling you, so this tells you it's air braked. Oh, we're going downhill. It's got the races again.
Oh, Whiskey Two Shots has asked a good question. Would it be possible to have dynamic nameplates like the Jubilees in future, so we could represent other A3s like Sandwich or
Possibly, but remember that we've modelled Flying Scotsman as it stands right now, which is not necessarily a standard A3. Yeah, if there is such a thing as a standard A3. But so you'd have Flying Scotsman with a different nameplate if we did that. I think this is the only A3 that's got the German deflectors as well.
Oh, a lot of them had the German deflectors, the A3s. There were different ones. They were obviously Scotsman's the only surviving A3, but
per camera sway will be on default airborne. When I turn it up, everyone complains. I prefer it turned up, but Will connecting
Matt,
a vacuum and air brake.
What you can do is if you've got stock that is dual, so for example that BG, if you had connected that to a Mark 1 set, that would work, because obviously it's got a dual braking system with it. But if you had a mixed train of both vac and air, it wouldn't work. Correct, Matt?
Sorry, say it again, Jamie.
So if you had a set with vac and air stock, it wouldn't work.
If you've got vac and air stock, it depends.
Together,
You either have to be all. The whole train has to be one thing. It's all dual, all air, or all vacuum. If you've got some coaches that are dual and some coaches that are air, probably the chances are you've got no brakes. Just letting it coast now because we're doing 80 miles an hour and we're going down a hill.
William asked if they could see the staff kitchen area on the Azuma. That was one of the first things I think we showed, wasn't it? Very start.
It was, yeah. It was.
Simworld Life, yeah. If you mix your coaches and wagons, the same is true. If you've got, if you think back to Spirit of Steam, where you would have a mixture of braked and unbraked, so the bauxite wagons and the grey wagons. As long as you put all of the braked wagons up to the loco and all the non-braked away from the loco, then the ones that were braked would act as brake and the other ones wouldn't. The same really applies here, I think. I don't know what Ed maybe can explain what happened in the simulation. If you had, would you just get the ones using the system you're connected to? So if you use the vacuum brake, for example, and you've got 3 vacuum brake coaches and 5 air brake coaches, would that work as 3 vacuum brake coaches and nothing else? I don't know. I've never tried it, to be honest, so I don't know. I know that that's kind of how it works with the freight cars. Oh, that's better. We're slowing down a bit now.
I have tried goods trains with it as well. So the interesting thing about Scotsman is, so your back coupling is both back buck, eye and hook. Your front coupling is just hook. For obvious reasons, because you've got the corridor connection.
It just says just don't mix, and that makes sense. Just don't mix. Bad things. They never mix in reality, as far as I'm aware.
Bad things may happen. I can't remember how many services Scotsman has on the East Coast.
It's about 15, I think.
It's quite a few.
Yeah, they're all detailed in the article we published today on Dovetail Live. Sometimes they prefer, we listed them all out. They're split by month, I think, or they're split by certain times of the year that they work. So basically, just to avoid you seeing 2 blind spots at the time. That's not being prototypical. But all the services are listed in the article we published earlier.
I've just turned Joe's audio up a bit, Tim Troy. What I can do is just turn the Discord itself up a little bit. Guys, do you want to try talking?
Hello, hello, hello.
Is that better?
Hello, hello, hello.
Sounds better to me.
Yeah, someone said better, so that sounds good.
Where are we? 4 miles to Newark.
Oh, I'm louder than Matt now. You don't outdo you, Matt. Oh, thanks, Smallman. Yeah, so just for those that didn't hear, if you want the full list of Flying Scotsman services in timetable mode, we've listed them in the article that we published today on Dovetail Live. And again, I think, just to reiterate, they're sort of split by month, and it's done that way so that you basically avoid seeing 2 Flying Scotsmans at the same time, because obviously if you did, that wouldn't be very prototypical. So as I say, if you want the full details, you can see those in the article we published. In fact, a couple of people, I think, have popped the link in the chat.
Just thought I'd stop on the level crossing here because someone asked about level crossings earlier on. If I can think of a suitable moment to take a picture, I will take a picture.
Now, interesting chat. Interestingly, what do you think is the original part of Flying Scotsman that's actually 100 years old?
It's the only
I
part,
only
isn't
found
it?
this out the other day.
It's actually the
Yeah, I think
only
it's the
part
only
that dates
part
back
that's
to it.
100 years.
Yeah, to the original 1472, was it, when it was original number? There's just one
Yep.
part left.
No,
of
it's
the
not the
original
nameplate.
Scotsman.
Nope.
You'd be surprised. I was
Just
surprised
wait
when I
to see
heard
if
this.
anybody gets. I was. Nope.
I don't know the answer to this, so I'm really intrigued to find out the answer.
Topic sensations.
Oh,
gets the
someone's
point.
got it. Someone's got it. So, it is the window seals. So you see the brass edging round the windows like that. That is the original part from 100 years ago.
Basically, everything else has been replaced at one time or another.
Yep.
When you look down on the loco down here, you can see some of this stuff has got 4472 written on it. And on the other side, you can see some bits marked 60103. But yeah, apparently those brass frames are the last surviving bit of the original Scotsman.
Mr. Quaker Gaming, yes, the boiler has been replaced. Yeah.
Probably more than once.
Yes, more than once, yep.
This is Newark.
Back across the flat crossing, for those that missed it earlier.
Yep.
So the vacuum brakes are operated in this train using the same. You always use this air brake control, the train brake, and then the vacuum brakes are slaved off it. So if you've built a vacuum, then it will operate the vacuum brakes as a slave to the air brakes. So you'd still only ever use these controls to operate the brakes on the train. It's just if you don't want vacuum brakes, you just don't create the vacuum in the first place. Alright, I think go via Grantham is our last waypoint before it gives us the... Alright, open it up. By default, Sophie, it's air brakes, yes. Well, it's all been replaced over bits and period of time. It's like yourself as a person. Most of your body is replaced over time.
Yes, the L and the R in the days of steam obviously replaced boilers, frames, wheels, tenders. So if you look at pictures of Scotsman through its 100-year history, you will find it's done tender swaps, it's had boiler swaps because it's been rebuilt from an A1 to an A3, and obviously the modification. So obviously before it never had smoke deflectors, it never had it had a single chimney, now it has a double chimney. So it's just that it always gets changed and replaced.
It was an A1 when it started out as well.
It's the same as a car. It's the same as a car.
Photo mode.
I will get the information between an A1 and A3 for you, chat. Give me a second.
This is a process that's going to happen time and time again, isn't it? People taking photos of flying Scotsman in game.
This is one of the cinematic scenarios. Once we hit the 100 miles per hour at the appropriate section, then you'll get the music played and so forth.
Rocky Mountain asking, does it still run as of today? Yes. This year is its 100th year. It's centenary, and it's doing probably more running this year than it's done the last few years, with rail tours and appearances and special events and all sorts.
Here we go. So here's the full list. So had slightly different boilers. I think the cylinders were slightly increased. Increased superheat, long travel valves, improved lubrication, modified weight distribution, and they were converted from right left-hand drive, which I didn't realise, which was more to do with the signals on the East Coast Main Line. They also had different domes, so obviously you can see the banjo type dome, which is more of a streamlines type dome. You had the double chimneys and the smoke deflectors, which is the difference between the A1s and the A3s. Obviously some of them didn't all have smoke deflectors and double chimneys, but yeah, it's quite an interesting, out of, how many there were built. So there's 52 A1s built, which Scotsman was one of them. When they were rebuilt, so all 53 were rebuilt. 51 were rebuilt A3s, and 27 were built new as A3s. So the class increases to 78.
Paul says, is there any benefit to the deflectors? Yes, they perform a very big function. So what happens, actually use the 3 camera, is that without the deflectors there, the smoke is very low over the cab and the coaches. With the deflectors there, it's channeling the air up over the front of this and lifting, and that what it does is it lifts the smoke up and rises it above the train a bit more, so it gets it out of everything's way. And that's why a lot of trains have got the smoke deflectors on them. It's to lift that smoke up.
It's a German design, isn't it?
These deflectors are German, yeah. Okay, 8 miles, and then I think, and then we get the go-ahead. Although when the go-ahead happens, we're uphill. So, the goal once we get the go-ahead is to maintain our speed until we get to the top, and then we thrash the train senseless going down again.
So I'll just give you some information about the East Coast Main Line. So you've got 5 stations, 80 miles, 125 mile an hour race track. Obviously you get the 801, you get the Class 66 as just standalone for East Coast Main Line, and then you can get Scotsman as Deluxe as well.
Where's the whistle? It's these things here. And in the real one, they get quite hot.
It's a little grizzly.
Can you use the head-out view? Yeah, that's this one.
Love that view.
You can also, if you lift the armrest in, you can pull the window shut as well. Six miles. Is there a Southern Bellevue? I don't know whether it was added to this one. If not, I'm going to complain. Yes, Southern Bellevue.
Just watch your head on the casino. Morgan, yes, it does have a more comfortable seat than the Jubilee in 8F, I'll give it that. Nice bucket seats they got. There's safety barrier.
That's the whistle. Remember, the Scotsman doesn't have an LNER chime. Oh, there it is there, look. It's not like something like
It used to
your
have a
A4s.
chime many years.
Yeah.
I think it had its chime first fitted when it went to America, but when it came back in 2016, it had it removed. Was it 2016? I think it was 2016.
It was stuck over there for ages, wasn't it?
Yeah, went to America, then came back, then ran in the UK for a little bit.
And went to
And then,
Australia.
interestingly, was invited over to Australia and Japan. Actually, I think it's been invited over to Japan. Obviously, went to Australia and actually met with. No, this is a little interesting. I'll give you a little factoid quickly. I don't know if people have heard of Pendennis Castle. Now, Scotsman and Pendennis Castle have both been together in different parts of the world all at the same time. So, Pendennis Castle was at the National Exhibition or the British National Exhibition with Flying Scotsman back in 1924, 1925. Obviously, they then separated and didn't see each other for years and years and years. But when Scotsman was owned by Sir William McAlpine, he owned Pendennis Castle, which ended up in Australia. So Scotsman went to Australia and met back with Pendennis Castle, and now Pendennis Castle is now back in steam. So I would like to see it done, of Scotsman and Pendennis Castle next to each other. I can't remember if it's been done yet, but it's amazing that two locomotives have had basically the same history together from different operating companies. Sorry, I went
We were
off
talking
there.
earlier, weren't we, Jamie, about the time it spent in America and whether there was any crossover with the routes that we've got in Trains and World over in the States. And we looked at some videos and some historical information, and we think it was at Newark Station on the Northeast Corridor very briefly. It was stabled in the yard there for a little while. Obviously not in the condition that it's in now. It would have had its big cow catcher on the front and various other things. But I think it had a big light, didn't it, as well on the front of it.
Yes.
But yeah, we were trying to look, and we think that's probably the only in-game route where there's any crossover in terms of where it went on its big US tour. But it went pretty much everywhere, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah, if you look at a map of where it went to in America, it literally went the length of America and into Canada as well. It's quite incredible where the engine went, and it's got the record for the longest non-stop run because it went basically across Australia non-stop, which is mad, absolutely mad.
Simon James says Microsoft Train Simulator is where the Flying Scotsman was first on the Seton and Carlisle route. It was, and actually, so was Pendennis Castle and the Royal Scot. They were both in there as well, although they weren't drivable.
Oh, was it? I didn't realise it was them too. Look.
Yeah. You see them in a siding, I think, at Ribblehead or something like that. Even. All right, we're almost at Grand.
Manchester City fan. Yes, so it's called Flying Scotsman after the service, the Flying Scotsman. So the service was a fast express that ran from King's Cross up to Edinburgh. And it became more famous because of the locomotive doing its first non-stop run. hence why it was named Flying Scotsman.
Clear to increase to 100 miles per hour. But let me just look at the gradient plan, and you can see we're not going to be doing 100 miles per hour just yet. We've got to climb up Stoke Bank first.
Why is the Azuma called the Azuma? Well, I'm not sure I know the answer to that one. It's Flying Scotsman's a little bit more obvious, but yeah, well, I don't know. Do you know the answer to that, Jenny? Why is Azuma called Azuma?
I don't know.
Azuma is Japanese, if I remember rightly, and it means
Hmm.
something like
Do you know
train.
that?
Like, I think Azuma is Japanese, and it's I think it just means fast. Oh, it's for east. There you go, east. I knew it was Japanese. I got that bit right.
Oh, so that's quite a clever name, that.
Billy
There you
Winsock
go.
is, yeah,
Mole Man has said it.
Billy Winsock, yeah, Cameron is he's 20 now and is at university. So we're climbing the bank now, and once we get to the top, then we can open it up and let rip. But before, I need to drive everyone crazy. Go, no, we just get on with it.
Not another one!
As everyone realizes how much of a bad idea adding this feature was for me.
You know, we will all be doing it.
Same in real life, though, isn't it? You go out onto the main line, you want to get the photo of Flying Scotsman, you spend ages waiting for it and getting the right place and the right shot lined up, make sure there's nothing crossing it and the weather's all good. And then when you've done it and you go home and then you hear that Flying Scotsman's going to be on the main line again, you still want to go and get another one. You want that second or third or fourth or fifth photo. You can never stop.
Yeah. And I'm very much the same. Riley, yes, there will be a tutorial for Flying Scotsman, and I am doing said tutorial. So, so we will be uploading that at some point soon. We'll keep you updated, and that will be on the usual channels.
Black Pulsar is asking, is that the test material on the front? I'm just going to very quickly switch to this, and you'll notice that from this photograph, that's completely authentic. It's called a quarter. It's a technique called quartering. Please tell your friends, because you see lots of people saying, "But why didn't you texture the buffers?" Right.
Why is quartering done? Quartering is just something pretty for the locomotive. As Joe said, it's like wearing your best suit. So a lot of engines will have it done for like special occasions. A lot of museum engines will have it done. So Scotsman being one of them, you can see a lot of locations on rail tours, in the museum. All those pictures at King's Cross when it went there, it was quartered then. There's actually one engine that's had it done. I don't know how they did it, but they did flags in the buffers, and they managed to do sort of like the Scottish flag and the English flag with like all sorts on it. So however they did it in the buffers, I have no idea.
I love the lights on the gauges.
Yeah, it does look good.
Let's have a look at the gradient profile. Right, we're almost at the top, and then we've got the race down, and it just carries on going for quite a while.
The Taylor Scotsman had 3 recordings, hasn't it? I think, Matt.
Say again.
Scotsman's had 3 recording trips, hasn't it?
Yes, and in fact, we just recently. So the first recording trip was on the East Lancs, and limited, obviously, to preserved line speeds. But we've just had the opportunity this last Sunday, where we went out on the rail tour, where it went out on the Settle and Carlisle. So Adam, our audio engineer, was on board, and the recording equipment was all fitted. Here we go, we're speeding up now. And we were able to get high-speed mainline recordings of the Scotsman, which is just an absolute, just such a rare golden opportunity to do. So we were able to get that. Now, they are not in the game yet, so there will be another pass on the Scotsman sounds coming, which brings in the sort of like, we've obviously put 0 to 30 miles per hour, I think 0 to 25 miles per hour from the recordings, and then sort of done what we normally do, which is to try and stretch them out to make the rest of them. But now we've got 30 to 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour, so we've got the another big set of sounds, which is such a rare thing to get for Steam. So yeah, there'll be an upgrade to the audio coming, but no, just the audio sounds great. It's come along really well, but it's because Adam has taken multiple trips to come and get that, to get the audio in different ways. We're at 88, 89.
This is it. It's happening now.
90.
Oh, here we go.
Why such a big cut-off? I want steam in the cylinders, bluntly. I'm not trying to be efficient, I'm trying to be fast.
Everybody's like, go faster, go
96,
faster.
96! Oh, we're on a level bit. We go down again in a minute.
I'm scared. Is anyone else scared?
There we go.
You are just going to fall over.
'97. This is quite a long, shallow downhill. This second bit, you get quite a steep bit first, then a little shelf, and then it's quite a long 0.5% after that. 98. I'm going to shush now. It's good, isn't it? The music adds a real nice touch to it.
I think the chat really like that. Who's crying?
Sorry about the camera movements.
You're alright. Well, that's chat. I mean, maybe that's something we've got to do. Who can get the fastest on Scotsman, eh?
Someone said 110.
Yeah.
Whoa!
He's doing 110.
That's it. Still going downhill, so it's just coasting now, and I'll just let it give it enough steam.
Well, we did do a test, didn't we, Matt, recently, and I'm sure we did like 130 with her. But I think that was before the steam physics went in, weren't it? I think.
Can't remember now. We've had numerous iterations of things on the Scotsman, and downhill always helps, you know.
Hope you were paying attention to your flashing greens if you went above 125 mile an hour.
I was. Oh, there we go, 133. Thank you, ECM2.
Copy done.
Another lovely picture.
Rocky Mountain, the warning sign that you saw on the speedometer was just telling Matt that he was being very naughty and speeding. And that's all it is. It's just when you go above the speed limit, the HUD goes yellow, and then when you go really over the speed limit, it turns red, and you get the little warning sign.
How do you decide how much regulator and throttle to use? Or cut off, you mean? It's experience, to be honest. You'll get the hang of, and just a lot of it is feeling the locomotive and how it's reacting to what you're doing. Looking at, because you're not in the train, you've not got what they call the seat of the pants feeling of what's going on. You need to look at this accelerometer, and then you try different cut-off settings. Look at how much steam you're spending versus whether you're seeing the acceleration or not, and try in both directions. You know, more throttle sometimes gets in the way, and you'll need to back off the throttle a bit, and suddenly you'll find actually that it's actually opened it up a bit. And the reason is that, you know, you've got steam coming into the steam chest here, and you can find yourself putting so much steam in, all that steam's got to come out. So if sometimes the answer is to back off the regulator a little bit. But anyway, I think we've done what we wanted to do here. Now, there's a couple of things people have actually asked for. So let me just real quick.
Yeah.
I am going to just restart this, to be honest. And one of them is a wheel spin as you start, which is really easy with a powerful loco like this. And then the other one is I just want to show you the vacuum brake stuff, because that's caused a number of issues in the beta group. So let me just show you what you need to do there. Set some lights up. Might as well do it properly, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So first thing then, vacuum brake. So if the first thing I do is I come on here and open the ejector, you'll see we start creating a vacuum. Let's wait for that to finish. So if these are not pointed down, you have a vacuum, and that's why you can't get it moving. So if I now shut that, you see that the vacuum's on there. If I now release the brakes, it's not releasing the brakes properly. The air brakes have come off, but the other brakes are still on. So if I try and make the train go, what you probably find is it doesn't do anything at all. Because all the brakes are on, so I've got it's like it's. So let me apply that. And then to switch it, I'm going to do is put it into full service. And then I'm going to... we've got those on. Turn the small ejector off. Vent that. The vacuum chamber is now emptied. Let's get everything out.
You do it on the tender as well, don't you?
Yeah, I need to, but I need to get this one emptied first. And then we need to do the tender, which is this one. You can see the gauge there showing what the tender's doing. It's a right-hand gauge there as that one goes down. Now, everything's back to being off again. Plus, I had it on emergency, so it might take a minute. Probably take a minute for the air brakes to reset on the brake. Or would the BG need them, actually? The BG might need it.
Allman did suggest something about letting off brakes in the Mark 1.
Yeah. There's a pull cord down here somewhere. Is that it? There it is. I'll release the brakes in the cylinders down here. Just give it a few seconds.
You see the brakes come off then. You just saw them come off.
Yeah. So now... we're rolling. Easy to wheel spin this thing. Bit too much power. Thing is to do is actually, if I look at it from the outside, if you look at the steam chest, if I just... Okay, so I didn't do that right. I didn't check the settings.
Okay.
So yeah, the thing to do is if you look at your steam chest, the steam chest is what's actually the power that's going into the wheels. So just keep an eye on that to manage it. Opening the cylinders will help vent the steam chests more. So you've got... I was just demonstrating SPAD still working in the game. That's all, folks. Just calm down. It's all good. So if you look at the... if you look at the steam chest down here, which is this gauge here, when you open up the throttle, you'll see that you're getting steam in there, and it's going down because the cylinders are open. So if I now close the cylinder cocks and just open the throttle and shut it, you see that the steam is trapped in there. And as soon as I open the cylinder cocks, it vents. So if I now release the brakes... I know it's still a red light. We won't go very far. I'll do it from the outside so you can see it. Then watch that. When you're getting started, you're going to want to have keep control over that by not letting it go too far up. But if you go too far
Especially
up,
with
it'll
hill
spin.
starts as well.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that. So yes, definitely possible to slip, especially in rubbish weather like this. If you find you're having trouble with the brakes, check your vacuum brake gauge, and you release it down here, having turned off all your ejectors, and over here. And that's a particular note to rail driver owners. One of the beta testers fell over this because the rail driver, the ejectors are mapped, I think, to the wiper control on the right hand side. And it was still set to on from a previous thing he was doing, which meant that the train had immediately created a vacuum, and he hadn't even realised it was doing that. So keep an eye out. If you find you're having trouble with the brakes, check your vacuum brake gauge, and then you need to go through the release process if that happens. Right. What else have we got to look at on the plan? We were going to have
there's a couple of little bits. So we're just going to have a 5. So there was. Can we just have a quick look at night? Maybe Doncaster. Just have a quick walk round at night. What it looks like.
Yep. Timetable on for Doncaster, and we will go late. Let's go to 11 o'clock, and we will have light clouds. Actually, no, I should have put fog on there, shouldn't I? Let me do that again. And 323 is after this, yes.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sure you mentioned it, but Doncaster being where Flying Scotsman was built, of course, 100 years ago.
Yes, of course, yes.
Mini HUD, you don't get steam gauges, no. You have to drive it much more by feel. It's really interesting. On the Scotsman, you've got all the gauges in the cab, but the Jubilee, without a speedometer in the cab and with anything else, you are really trying to drive that one on feel, which is fun, actually. It's quite a different experience. Let's go with light clouds, and we'll dial up a little bit of fog density. The bell in the cab is part of the AWS safety system, and yes, it rings. Something fun somewhere. A waiting room over here. Proper linear posters as well. There's
I didn't even notice there was there.
There's all sorts of bits of LNER official stuff around as well. I haven't seen any, but you'll find some official LNER signage around as well, all done and approved. Oh, I see.
Certainly with the fog, you get that nice sort of reflect, don't you? On the sides.
Wow, moonwalking on the platforms. See ya. It's not an officially added feature, it has to be said. There you go, there's some of the more of the LNER.
Look at that, even the timetables and bits. Wow. Seems kind of spooky there, doesn't it?
Yeah. The fog makes me feel really cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, got an Azuma down here. Shed over here. Something in the spooky distance on the skyline. But I think, yeah, that's Doncaster at night. I don't know how well that's coming out. It looks like it's coming out all right on the stream. Boo. It's a scone, not a biscuit. Love it. Little bit of Anglo-American humour there.
Yeah.
My wife would disagree, of course. Being American, I should be clear. It's the weathered 66, but it's so it's similar to the railhead treatment train one, but it's not got the railhead treatment train equipment in it. It's quite fun driving into stations like this, especially with the fog.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we show the 323 suspension then?
Yeah, let's get on. If only you would pronounce scone correctly. Why is it scone? If I'm near it, it's scone. I'll tell you. Right. No, training centre. Training centre. I'll just do explore on foot, and we'll just easy. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is only on the Class 323. It is not finished at all. It's a little bit accentuated at the moment. It also is not really set up as air suspension, which is what these have actually got. But what I'm hoping you can see is the massive difference it makes and the direction that it's going in. Now, the actual suspension model in the game has moved on quite a lot of this since the builds were taken for release. They need reviewing now, these changes, and then starting to put onto the trains and so forth. So we've still got a bit of a ways to go, but hopefully not too long before we get it pushed across the rest of the trains in the collection, and we'll let you know how that goes. However, on that basis, let me show you what we do have rather than wittering about what we don't have. So I'm going to start externally, and then I'll show you what it looks like, or what the impact of it is going to be internally. So let's get going. Brakes off. Hopefully you can see the axle jumping up and down, the bogie jumping around as it goes into the joints on the track. So if I now go and do this from the cab, you can see that as we go over junction joints, you can see the cab jumping around a little bit and bouncing around as you feel the gaps in the track. And you can feel this on jointed track. You can feel it on these junctions. So you drive this on Northern Transpennine, I imagine that's going to be a bumpy experience. So you can feel though, the cab feels a lot more interactive with the way that it's moving on the route. What this will actually have an impact on as well is potentially how the suspension reacts with a loaded versus an unloaded train. I've seen an example of wagons being loaded where you can almost see the suspension going down as the wagon gets loaded. So, the ride height changes as well. So it's quite an interesting feature. It has quite a big difference to the way the trains ride. It is only this 323 that has it in the release version, so you're welcome to play with it. But the other 323s, like the Glossop and the Birmingham ones, haven't been updated. At this point, we don't have any plans to update them. And let's get it working first on all the trains in TSW4, and then we can decide, once we know how much that is. And yes, see how much you can break it, Crazy Colour. Tell us what you think of it. Bearing in mind, of course, that, like I said, this is not necessarily an accurate suspension for this train. See what you think about it, about what the experience is as well, want to hear your feedback. And that,
yeah, there was just one last quick thing. We were going to just quickly show Scotsman on Vorarlberg. Just put it down on free roam so we can just show, and put it with the vacuum set so we can show what the vacuum set looks like.
So let's choose, go to Vorarlberg. We'll go free roam. Actually, no. Let's go timetable. Let's do this properly. Let's have some risk.
Oh, you can do it in timetable now.
Oh, yes. You should watch the streams, Jamie. We showed this on Monday.
I should.
It's very good. It's very good fun. Mayhem will ensue. Right, we found all of the trains. Clearly, I've started a timetable at a point where everything is here. And what I'll do is we'll run down the end of the platform. Free roam works on every route, Ludwig Tales. Every route works with free roam. Down the end here.
It's a great thing with free roam as well if you wanted to put different stock in. So one thing I've been doing is, like, if I wanted to run Scotsman with doing a rescue service with the 101 DMU, you could flip Scotsman round, connect to the 101 DMU and turn it off. It's great.
Scotsman. So you got the Mark 1 coaches and you got the Mark 2 coaches. So let's go for the Mark 1 coach sets. Well, it fits. There's a Mark 1 coach set. Actually, let me get in the cab, then I can use the camera to just fly around.
Yeah, that's true. So you can take Scotsman on a world tour. There you go.
Still think this is the best feature in Train Sim World 4. There's a lot of great features, but I still think this is the best feature. I watched the free roam stream, and I know there's a lot of people excited about that. But I just think it's fantastic. You can just drive anything anywhere.
What we'll do is just give ourselves a path over to the yard.
Perfect.
And then we've got to wait till we got our green light. And of course, this is all vacuum coaches. So we've got our lights. So we'll need to create vacuum to get these ones to release. Vacuum pipe and your vacuum chamber, they've got to be at 21 inches of mercury is the units of measurement for that. We've got Scotsman in Germany, actually, at this point. We're not actually in Austria, we're in Germany.
In Germany, there you go. There's quite a few British locomotives that have gone in different countries, so yeah.
I did wonder about that because I know the free roam stream, it was the 8F, wasn't it, at Dresden? And I know the 8F, that was a Second World War loco that kind of went pretty much everywhere, didn't it, over Europe? I did wonder whether it made it that far in real life. But if not, it doesn't matter because you can do it in game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think City of Truro went to Belgium once, which is an interesting one. Great Western Prairie Tank went to Poland. Yes, Sim Wildlife, yes. A couple of Austerity 060s went to the Netherlands and Belgium, didn't they, as well? Another one. Yes, they did. I think it was I don't think it was Africa. I think it was Turkey.
Ludwig Tales. At the moment, EMUs can't be individually pieced together. They're placed as a single unit. The problem is the way the EMUs are built, they kind of have to be in that unit or they don't work properly. But we might look at what we can do in the future. But no, at the moment, EMUs, the 801, all that lot, they're all placed as a single thing.
Yeah, I'd love to go to that railway museum.
A few people asking about the ins and outs of free roam mode and what's possible and how it affects signalling and that kind of thing. I know this was all covered in the free roam stream we did earlier this week, and I think, Matt, it was one of those streams where you answered yes to a lot of questions because there's a lot that you can do with free roam.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and have a look at the stream on Monday. We covered it: the inside, outside, upside down. To quote Paloma Faith.
Yeah.
Now I'm using the same brake controls, to operate the brakes, using this control here, but now it's operating the vacuum brakes because the vacuum is there, so it will. Apparently, I've rooted myself with stuff in it, so we'll not do that. So yeah, free roam.
I think that's it. We are there.
So I think we've probably overrun the stream looking at the plan by about an hour. But I think hopefully you've seen the ECML, you've seen the Flying Scotsman, and you've had a look at the 323 suspension. Hopefully you've seen everything you want to see. Really, the Class 66 you've seen before. It's the same as your ones you've seen before. Anything else you want to cover off, or are you going to just finish us up with some admin, Jamie?
Yes, so if you can bring up the special screen. That one, that's the one. So yes, as I said, early access begins tomorrow. You haven't got long. It's at 3 p.m. for Xbox and PlayStation, 5 p.m. UTC for Steam and Epic. If you haven't got it, you can still pre-order it. And as Joe said, if you want to wait for a couple of days, you can still get it and get it for early access. And that's just for Deluxe and for Special Edition. Is that right, Joe?
That's right, yeah.
That is right. Thank you very much. So yes, and then you won't get all your content at first. You'll just get the TSW4 featured content. But there is a document with all the information that you need to know, which will be in the forums. So if you need to know anything about, like as you say, progress transfer, content transfer, anything like that, it's all there and available. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Have fun. We can't wait to see have your hands on the game. I mean, it's been brilliant.
Yep, we'll be looking out for you, seeing what you're doing. The team will be standing by extra hours to help. So if you have any issues, do get in touch with us with support and on the social media, and people will be looking out. And otherwise than that, enjoy it. It's, as I said, it's out early access tomorrow. Official launch is on the following Tuesday. Can't wait for it. So I think that'll do for me. I think thank you very much, Jamie and Joe. You've added a lot of great insight into this to hopefully make people help people understand what we've got here.
Thank you. No, thanks for having us. It's been brilliant, hasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed the ride. Got to see all sorts. A SPAD, 100 mile an hour flying Scotsman. What more can you want on a, I don't even know what day it is, Wednesday evening?
Excellent. Well, this is a good job it's 10:10 because there's nothing much more you can do to top off the day like this. So
no, it'd be straight to bed now.
It's just downhill now to bed now. So, right, folks, that's enough waffle. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Enjoy the game. And, we'll see you on the next stream. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.